16-page A3 pull-out or A0 pull-out quick start guide in Illustrator, my advice would be please don't. Illustrator is a fine program, but that's not what it's intended for. We see quite a lot of material in Visio. We see help systems and user guides in RoboHelp and Doctor Help. We have XML documentation coming through. We have HTML files, both for websites and help systems. And a few years ago, the translation world started having a bit of a head scratch about this and thinking, I wonder if there's a better way to build this particular mousetrap. And we've seen several open standards start to emerge. Probably the most important of these open standards is XLIF. That's the XML Localization Interchange File Format. It's an open standard. It's XML based. It's basically an interchange format into which you can convert a whole number of documentation formats, and the XLIF file can then be passed to a translation or localization vendor, translated within XLIF, and it can then come back to you for conversion back to your publishing format. It is now natively supported by many translation memory tools or CAT tools. You may have heard that term, computer-aided translation tools. New versions of Trados, which is the name most of you will have heard, support it, but there are also many other good translation memory tools, such as MemoQ and Swordfish, and they natively handle XLIF as a file format, so there's very strong support. I've given you a link here to the OASIS page. OASIS is one of the open standards bodies that oversees the development of open standards like XLIF and DITA. And you can find out a whole lot more there. There's a white paper on that page, which is in PDF format, is very downloadable. But basically an XLIF file is an XML file which stores the source version of a string, and string in this context could be a user interface string, or it could be a sentence from your user guide or help system. It stores many of these units all in one XLIF file. It stores the source language version and also the target language version. So you could have a range of options. You could have one XLIF file that contains the English and the French. You could also choose to set it up with one XLIF file that contains the English, the French, the German, the Spanish and the Polish. And another good open source environment is DITA, the Darwin Information Typing Architecture. I was closely involved in that for a couple of years when I sat on their translation subcommittee. You can use DITA the DITA Open Toolkit is available freely, and you can use it to produce some quite exciting user documentation. And one of the nice things about it is it's from a technical author's viewpoint is it's single source. So you can produce one master file set from which you can produce single sourcing in both ways. You can go one single source to multiple outputs. You can generate help systems. You could generate a manual. You can generate different sorts of help systems. And it's also single sourcing in the other sense that you've got variables. So from one master file set, you could kick out an Apple Mac version of the help system and a PC-based version of the help system, and a PC-based version would just mention the variables for the PC environment, and the Mac would just mention the stuff that Mac users need to understand. Out of the box, the output from the Open Toolkit is not massively exciting, but it is eminently customizable, as with any XML workflow. So that offers a possibility for people as well. You'll be delighted to know I'm coming to the end of my monologue. In summary, aim to systemize. Every time you see somebody going hands-on and having to solve problems, manually and go through and manually alter the layout in the French, and then do the same in the German, the same in the Italian, the same in the Polish, the Czech and the Hungarian. Stop and have a good look and think, what are they doing, why are they doing it, and what can we do to eliminate the need for them to do that. By automating processes, by using templates, you can save a lot of time. When you save a lot of time, you save yourselves a lot of money. If you're going into multiple languages and you're sat on a translation spend of $500,000 a year, I certainly know plenty of people who are spending that sort of money. Then if you can aim to save 50% of that budget, that's a cost saving well worth having. And very importantly, it's a cost saving that you can achieve and which actually frees up more time to concentrate on the really value-added part, on getting good translation, which is what you really want when you're getting your user documentation translated. So it does cost money to set up some of this stuff. Some of it's available just with your time and a bit of initiative. Some of it, when you move into the complex XML stuff,